Okay. I think we should be ready unless anyone else needs to make a quick break to the toilet. Everyone is ready. We can all start.
All good.
Let's do it.
Okay. We have already been doing it for approximately 15 seconds now. Once again, I fooled you guys. I guess. Ooh, one thing I did forget that we didn't do last time. I don't know if we necessarily have to do this, but first of all, welcome for anyone who has returned. And second of all, maybe we should do introductions since we aren't famous role players that everyone in the world knows. I totally forgot about that last time. To at least say our names, because maybe some people won't be able to read the shitty font that shows for your names on the layout. We will start with the top left corner. No one knows who it is. It's you, Greg.
I don't. Oh, okay. I thought it was me. I'm Greg. I'm playing Eirik Spanner.
Okay, very nice. Do you wanna say more about yourself? Maybe how popular you are at work, or?
Not very.
Okay.
Spend a lot of time in front of the computer.
I think we all do. We play D&D. Okay. Next on the list, top right corner. Who is it? It's Matt. Come on, man. You should know by now.
I definitely don't. Shocker, I am Matt. I am playing Fiera. And I have no fun facts today. That is my fun fact.
Okay, I guess so we can maybe say just like a little bit more in our introduction, maybe to like just quickly remind like the name of your character, okay, but also the things they already know that happened, you know, like that you're from the Holy Legionnaires or stuff like that.
Yeah, I am from Canaan, a different country. I came to Azathia with my mom. Just you know, hang out, have a good time. You know, work on my hobbies. Nothing, you know, anything else.
Yeah. Typical Matt, typical Fiera. Everyone knows that. And next we have the bottom left corner, who is. There's a 50-50 chance one of yours to start talking.
Pretty sure it's not me. Because I think I'm bottom right.
I think I'm bottom left.
Correct! 50-50
Yay!
chance. Guessed correct.
Hi, I'm Skit, and I play Isarel Leafina, who is an elf, and my dad is a diplomat, and I'm basically walking in my dad's shoes, trying to figure things out, and I'm here with my buddy.
On the bottom right corner, who is your buddy?
My name is Felicia. I'm playing Arya Einscheit. Probably butchered that last name. But
Yeah.
hey, it's okay. I am the buddy, also known as the protector. And I'm the one from last session that did the detect thoughts around the table and made some people uncomfortable.
Not just people, you made players uncomfortable. Very good. I will quickly introduce myself. I am Jack. I am the GM. I was the one who forgot to mention a lot of stuff last time, which is why I had to cut the video and then place myself in it again, which I hope I don't have to do this time, which is why I'm thinking a lot now, and I will talk extremely slowly to ensure that I'm not forgetting anything. No, I don't think I forgot anything, and I think we don't have to hopefully mention anything else for now. So, without further ado, you know the ritual. We're gonna start this campaign with the intro. And for that we will have to mute ourselves.
Something that all men and women strive for. Because to be free is to live, and to live is to experience the world around you. A gift given to us, and surely one that you should cherish and not waste. But it makes us blind, for while we stare longingly into the sky, boundless and free, more often than not, we miss the very cliff that approaches right in front of us. One that will most certainly let us fall to our own demise. Yet still we will go out of our way to challenge anything and anyone who would dare impede on our freedom, who would dare to even think about taking it away from us. We will wage wars, forget friends, and curse even our own siblings and parents in the name of freedom. We would even steal it away from other people just to keep it for ourselves. And suddenly, we have become consumed by our own fear of losing this freedom. And in the process, we have abandoned everything else. Maybe we aren't supposed to be free. Maybe there are things beyond us that we do not comprehend yet, that hold more value than freedom. I challenge thee, O humble listener. Dost thou truly know what is right? Or dost thou merely see thy own fabrication of a blissful world that is filled with ignorance?
They have started moving, sire.
This soon already. I was hoping for at least 2 more days, but alright. There's the scouts who keep their eyes on them. And if anything changes in their movement, they should immediately pull back, understood? Now we'll have to just...
Are you sure this is a good idea, Your Higgledy? I mean, there would be countless casualties, right?
In a world that challenges both conviction and mercy, ruthlessness is a necessary tool to be used in order to move forward. Unless you want to stay here until the end of ages, sacrifices have to be made.
Yes. All things fall into place. Okay. With that, I think it is appropriate to start this off with a quick recap, just to remind ourselves what has happened last session. We met a variety of different people who seem to have approached or appeared in the city of Sunania, and they were all arriving for a certain meeting that was to take place in the White Orchards High Castle of the Ferratgeber family. We met a elderly woman in her 60s, late 60s. She came from Canaan, Holy Lichnius. With her, she had her daughter, who we got to know as Fiera, marked by her bright red hair, also accompanied by a cherubim Holy Court Sentinel Guard, large armored figure who was their protector at all times. They went into one of the housings where they could rest, and while being accompanied there by one of the guides, they encountered 2 other diplomats who came from inside of Azathia, but from a different capital, which was Korali. They met, they talked, exchanged a bit, both hoping for a good outcome of the meeting, as it seems like it. There were dire consequences that could occur if maybe unagreeable or unsatisfied discussions would be made, but it seems like both the Holy Lichnius and the Azathian diplomats had common interests, or at least that's how it seemed. After a short while, we also encountered what seemed like a group of mages, enchanters, and artificers, sorry, I've got to get used to the art of pronunciation, who were extremely nervous. Seems like they had to do something under contract of one of the dukes and overseen by the Minister of Research and Development, an elderly gnome who was kind of supervising them, but they were also to be part of this meeting. And as the day progressed, you all eventually met up in one of the meeting chambers. One large table, octagonal in shape. You each placed yourselves there where you felt the most comfortable, and you started discussing about the potential use or utility means of elemental chrysalises and whether or not they should be accepted in parts of, first, that Azathia and Collis wish to make an agreement, despite this agreement obviously challenging the Nicene Creed, which is the laws put onto Azathia and Collis and every other country under Holy Lichnius jurisdiction, which states that you cannot use these chrysalises under any circumstance and are limited. So you started discussing. It seems like the representative of Collis was extremely adamant, vocal, and open about the past failures of the Holy Lichnius and calling them out for being responsible that the societies today are not as developed as they could be, and that the potential for breaking into a new age is disallowed because the Holy Lichnius are gatekeeping powerful artifacts and information that could potentially benefit society at large. And the main counter argument from the Holy Lichnius side was mainly that unpredictable chrysalises, they believe they corrupt people, and that once this power gets out and isn't controlled, it won't be able to be controlled any longer. And they fear that this is a much larger threat that could be utilized by some unwieldy people. So they preferred to gatekeep these artifacts and information about them to prevent even the prospect of information leaking, because if nobody knows, there's no way information can be leaked, and that is why they have forbidden and gatekeep these chrysalises for the most part. However, the meeting took a misfortunate turn. Call back to the title, where a sudden occurrence happened where it seems like one of the servants came in to serve beverages, alcohol, which was strictly not allowed by Leander the Duke, since he said before the meeting began that nobody is supposed to enter the room until he says so. The representative of Colors, because he's a dwarf, he wanted a bit of alcohol. He drank one of the wines. Was checked by Isorel if poison was in one of these beverages, but didn't seem to be the case. And then a few minutes after the Duke scolded the retainer and she left, and you continue talking, the representative of Colors, who I probably should say the name, Tyrone, started kind of losing his voice a bit until he wasn't able to speak anymore for some reason, and then he just dropped dead. The Holy Legionary side decided to use their bodyguard to check if they could still help him, but afterwards Teliel, the Cherubim Holy Court Sentinel, went back to Nerio, the mother of Yera, and nodded his head, after which Nerio responded, it seems like he has passed away. And that's where we're gonna jump right back in. The Duke, a few minutes prior, did a sigil in the air, and he said that no one is supposed to leave the room, and he's kind of looking a bit agitated about what has happened here, obviously being, you know, partially responsible of whatever happens inside of this room, since it is, you know, his domain. He's kind of looking around, kind of looks to Nerio and the head judges, says, "Is there nothing you can do for him now? Don't you Holy Legionnaires have methods of bringing people back?" Nerio kind of looks, says, well, Teliel has the ability to bring people back from the dead, but he's only allowed to do so with me. And I, unfortunately, do not have the permission to change this commandment. He's strictly made to protect my well-being. You see the Duke kind of looking a bit angry at that notion. What are the other people doing while this conversation's happening?
I'm gonna kind of lean over to Israel and kind of whisper in her ear, "Do you have any other spells that could help him?"
I wasn't expecting someone to die, so I did not prepare anything in that sense this morning. I mean, I could ask potential varmint if they saw what happened, but that's as much as I can do. That's not gonna bring him back. And I mean, trying to detect if there's anything magical in this room is not gonna be helpful either.
It might give us an idea of, because if it wasn't poison, it could have been a magical means.
I'm willing to bet probably half of us in this room hold magic items right now. So it would just be a ping fest of magic items all around the table.
True. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. This hasn't happened before.
You can now see the head judges kind of. She has kept a pretty cool face even after he seemed to have died. She obviously seems surprised, like her eyes open, but she probably seems the least nervous from the bunch. I would guess she's the one who's keeping her composure the best. And she kind of then slowly turns to the Duke and she says, "Duke, I do not mean to be too presumptuous, but in how I see things right now, you are the main suspect in this. You can see the Duke obviously offended by this remark. He said, "What are you talking about? Why would I kill someone in our own castle with extremely important people present who were clearly witnesses? This is not my doing."
Do we really have the time for accusations? Why don't we try to find some facts, like how he did die? Obviously, Azrael said there was no poison, so I am kind of curious. That might shed some light on things.
That is, the head judge speaks, while I am very suspicious about the Duke. There have been no direct means that could end an individual's life. And those are the facts, young one. Facts enough for me to believe, not convince, that the Duke at least holds some responsibility. At this moment, the door opens, and then inside you see a female drow enter, white hair, pulled back, extremely tight leather clothing, black. Arya, you would immediately recognize her as one part of your group. Enters in, and behind her, a load of guards start, entering inside of the building, and you can see the Duke immediately kind of a bit relieved. You see him. He stands up to kind of greet the woman, and the woman kind of goes to him and says, "What has happened here? Thank you for coming. It seems like the representative of Collis has just passed away, and we do not know how. Do not know how. Has anyone entered the room since? Yes, we had a maid bring him beverages, but one of the attendants has checked whether or not there was poison anywhere, and from her account, it didn't seem like anything was tainted with." She kind of looks a bit confused and then now walks around the room. Anything else you would like to do while this is currently happening? And you can see about maybe like 5 guards, these heavy armored guards, kind of just encircling all of you.
While that little conversation happened, when this drow came in the door, can I just scan the room to see if anybody is looking like they're trying to hide something or, disguise something on their person?
Yeah, make a, I guess, insight check. That would be an insight check. I think you're too nervous to even look behind you. You're still staring at the wall. Any motion could potentially draw attention, and you don't want to draw any attention in this situation.
Fair enough.
What about the other 3?
I was gonna ask, who exactly is it that walks in?
You don't necessarily recognize her face or something like that, but her attire, you can see an eye inscribed on one of the armor parts that she's wearing, obviously indicating that she's part of the Inquisition. And a higher rank than you. Yep.
Alright.
If I may, Sir Duke, did the attendant that brought the drink not mention a note?
Yes. Maybe we should bring her in, but I should leave the formalities to the Minister of Defense, quick introduction. This is Saphire Schwerblut. She's the Mistress of Defense and propagates investigation units and military units inside of Sonania. She kind of just looks around, and as she was walking around, she was kind of giving you all an eye, kind of reading you up and down. She kind of stops by you, Arya, also recognizing you as part of her same team, and she kind of just goes to you, kind of bends down, just kind of whispers in your ear. Huh. Have you noticed anything? You're a Neugieriger, right?
Yes. I didn't see this coming. It makes me uncomfortable how quick it was.
Do you have any ideas what might have caused this?
I don't think it was poison. Somebody... And then I kind of not nudge, but I kind of like tilt my head. Was checking for poison. I don't know what else it could be, unless it was like a magical...
Right. Kind of stands up, and the Duke kind of also then stands up and says, Saphire, I would like you to send all of your units a message that they should lock up the entire castle, get the Adlerwache out, keep an eye out on all perimeters. I do not want anyone leaving this castle, and close the Tower of Verbindungs for at least the next 2 hours. Anyone who goes through there afterwards has to be documented. As well.
No, this is Skit. Would you mind giving the name, please?
Yes, I said I should get used to it, but I never did. There is that is
What
the...
is this name's?
Okay.
Beg your pardon?
Is this the person that was just talking to me?
Yes, that is the Mistress of Defense.
Izarel is going to turn to the bodyguard, Mr. Steelhammer, and ask him, would you allow me to respectfully look if I could find any point of entry or anything on his skin that is showing that could maybe help us figure out what happened here?
Make a persuasion check. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. He looks extremely suspicious to all of you. Like, in his eyes, any one of you could do it. So anyone who wants to touch him could potentially be a person to remove evidence. So he's keeping his body close. And then he kind of looks up to the Duke, doesn't respond to you, and says,
No, don't close the tower. I shall use it to bring him back to Cullis. I will not stay here any longer.
And then the Duke says, Mr. Steelhammer, please do not rush to anything. We have to investigate.
Nor I have seen enough. I can sense a certain hostility from a few members, and I have my own ideas who did this. And if it wasn't all of you together that planned this, I don't think there's any benefit of me and Mr. Tyrone staying here any longer, so I wish passage back to Cullis. Otherwise this will have dire diplomatic consequences.
He kind of looks up to the Ministers of Defense. The Ministers of Defense also looks a bit, uncomfortable. Ministers of Defense says then, please, you have to understand, in order to figure out how this has happened.
I do not care! He has already died, and I've had heard enough. And if the Holy Legions aren't willing to bring him back, I do not waste and does it sicken inside of this decrepit room of yours? You look a bit tense.
Oh, shoot.
The Ministers of Defense looks to the Duke. The Duke looks a little bit nervous. Alright, if that is what he wishes, I cannot hold him back. I cannot hold a representative of colors inside of my castle. Mistress, if you can guide him to the Towers of Verbindung. Alright. But I recommend no one else leave, the Ministers of Defense says. And she kind of goes to you, Ari, says once again, and she says, keep an eye off them until I'm back, okay?
I bow and I say, absolutely. And with your permission, I would like to inspect the body.
Well, that is beyond my control. If Mr. Steelham here doesn't wish to permit us to investigate, we aren't allowed to touch a foreign diplomat.
I look to the room and I say, being who I am, I understand I was in the room. I would really like to look to see if there's any clues that we can find that might help us with what killed him.
Everyone else has like I assume a notion of agreement. However, Steelhammer is still on the defensive. You can't make a persuasion check. Was kind of the room assisting you, however.
Oh my god. Do I do this? Yeah. I'm gonna look at the Duke and say, I'm really sorry. You can throw me out after, and I'm just gonna cast Charm Person on Steelhammer.
You do that, and you can. I make you blind, you won't see anything. But Dr. Fiera and the other ones, you would see that the Minister of Research and Development counterspells your spell immediately. And she kind of looks at you and says, "Do not attempt to charm a foreign diplomat magically. This could cause international conflict between Azathia and Collis." And now you can see, obviously, Steelhammer seeing this arcane conflict happening. Well, I want to see if he even checks. Yeah, he definitely knows what's going on. He's like, "I'm leaving now." The Duke's like,
I just realized my roll didn't even go over to
"Oh shit, yeah."
roll 20. Oh snap, that was a good roll too.
What was it?
It was, I rolled
19.
a 15 plus 4, so it's 19.
I will say, because of what Isoro just attempted,
Yeah.
that turned into a clear no for him.
Oh man.
He's seen some shady shit going on, and you can now see that a few guards now go around him, and the Ministress accompanies him out of the room. Does anyone want to attempt something before they leave the room?
Oh man.
Then they will leave the room. You see the Ministress go out. As she goes out, you can see a few more guards kind of replace her, and the guards that are currently accompanying Steelhammer and Tyrone. Steelhammer is carrying Tyrone alone. Doesn't seem to have any problems. He's an extremely strong guy, but he isn't allowing anyone near him. Seems extremely adamant about him not being touched. And he leaves. Then the door closes, leaving a few of the guards inside of here. You can see that the Minister of Research and Development kind of still is looking at you, Isoel, a bit infuriated at what you tried to attempt. The Duke also then kind of turns in and says, What was that about? Did you try to charm him?"
I'm very sorry. I was hoping I could at least just calm him down a little bit. My goal was not to sway him in a way or another, but rather convince him that we were on his side.
Still, that was... I can understand your attempt, but it was a premature decision. You should understand the consequences if you influence someone magically. That is illegal, especially in diplomatic situations. If you would have charmed him, we would be taken responsible for trying to persuade him into believing something that isn't true. And while your intentions might have been good, in court, this could have been used to trial us for attempted murder and trying to cover it up, because there's no way of recovering what has been said after you've charmed an individual. Don't do this a second time.
Understood.
The dude kind of sits down. This is conflicted. Does anyone inside of this room right now know more about what is happening right now than they are admitting? Has any one of you had prior contact with the representative of Collis?
I don't believe so. I think we were all meeting him for the first time today.
And at this point, Nerio kind of speaks up and says, well, I don't have the ability to bring Mr. Tyrone back, but Teliel does have the ability to let people speak the truth. So, if everyone is okay with it, since we are the main culprits, except for also maybe the maid or whoever wrote that note, we can at least either confirm or deny any accusations that are being made. And maybe we can clarify that no one indeed has attempted to murder Mr. Tyrone. The dude looks up. Alright. Yes, I think that is a reasonable assessment to make. Looks to the rest of the room.
Sounds fair. I think the truth needs to come out.
Just kind of nod.
Okay. Miss Liarfina, your consent?
Yes, absolutely.
You see Nerio kind of look to Teliel and kind of just whispers to him. Oh well, probably wouldn't whisper, but just like, well, could you maybe, make the circle? Kind of just nods his head. And he will then kind of, let's see how big this is. Yeah, it's totally big enough. Kind of places his hand to the table in the middle, and then he opens up his hand. You can see he's still holding his book. The book opens up, and then once again, without him saying anything, the sigils light up, and then they kind of swirl around and then they go into a circle-like pattern around the entire circle, glowing in this bright white and yellowish light that then slowly drops down as it fades, but it's still glowing, but a bit more dimmer than when they first came out. And then there's now this circle around the entire table with everyone inside of it, made out of these magical runes that are slowly floating around. And he casts Zone of Truth. Now, everyone has to either make a charisma saving throw, or they can choose to fail, which means you automatically fail. Or you can attempt to, bypass it.
Okay.
So, I will go one by one.
Oh, sorry, people.
Oh. Well, you fail. Yeah. Yeah, Isorel.
I don't fight against it, so I let myself fail.
Okay, then Aria Einsicht.
I will let myself fail.
Okay, the Duke and Duchess, the head judges. You don't know what they do, but Talia doesn't seem to react, and the entirety of the ministers of research and development, and the table of artificers. Whew, catch myself there. Eirik, what about you?
Barely even recognizing what's happening.
Okay, so you fail deliberately, I presume. Very well. You all fail, willingly or unwillingly. And Talia kind of just looks to Nerio and just kind of gives a nod. So just so you are aware, right now you can only speak the truth. Anyone who has failed, which is all of you, which means it doesn't matter how subtle the lie is, you aren't allowed to lie. The only thing you can do is not say anything. Either truth or nothing. Those are kind of the only two options right now. So I think it's probably the wisest decision to just ask if anyone has killed Tyrone. I have not killed or had the intention of killing Tyrone. Kind of looks over to you, Fiera.
I also had no intention, and I did not kill Tyrone. I was hoping to befriend him.
The head judges speaks up and says, I have not killed or had the intention of killing Tyrone. The Duchess also kind of speaks up and says, I also did not have the intentions to kill Tyrone, and I also did not kill him. The Duke speaks up. I did not have the intentions, and I also did not kill Tyrone. Isorel?
I did not have the intention, and I did not kill Tyrone. I was hoping to befriend him.
Aria?
I did not have the intention to harm anyone in this room, and that includes killing Tyrone.
Kind of Duke looks to the Ministers of Research and Development, or the Headmaster. I don't want to say Ministers of Research and Development every single time I mention her. The Headmaster says, I did not have the intention to harm or kill Tyrone or his compatriots in any way. She then kind of looks to you, Eirik.
There's like death coming through my eyes. I'm so taken aback by what's going on, especially combined with what happened to me only a few minutes prior. I did not have the intention of killing or injuring or doing anything negative to anybody in this room.
I also did not have the intention to kill. That is the little halfling next to Eirik. Finbian. I can't remember his name. As I have 2 kids, I'm extremely afraid and wish not to be suspected of attempted murder. Otherwise, I will not be able to see them for a long, long time. This is now Heinrich, the older man, speaking.
I also did not have the intention to kill Tyrone, and I also didn't kill him.
And then lastly, the High Elf, also part of the Artificers troop. I did not kill or have the intention of harming or doing anything negative to Tyrone. Oh, right. I guess that at least clears everyone inside of this room. Which does make it a bit more confusing. That's Nerio speaking. Kind of looks to Teliel, and then the lights diminish, and he stops casting Son of Truth.
So maybe the next question is, who wants us to fail?
Yes, the Duke says. I am a bit confused that... Well, I have already been accused by the head judges, so I shall now also take my turn. Though this is just truly, given the context, the only group of people who I could realistically see who would want to get rid of Tyrone specifically would be the Holy Lichnius. Since he was advocating for the use of elemental chrysalises, and the only ones at this table, or in the world that I know of, who are strictly against this, are the Holy Lichnius. Nerio can speak something. I can say that the notion is probably not a uncommon one, and I would have to agree with you that from what has transpired in the last few minutes, the logical conclusion of that would also be that the Holy Lichnius will want to get rid of him, but we don't reach to these means. We don't have, and we never have in the past, assassinated anyone. We do not have assassins in our order. we have done bad things in the past, as Tyrone has mentioned. She says with, kind of swallowing a heartbeat. However, and this is not to justify any of the bad things that we have done, but it always was done in a very, well, open way. As bad as it sounds. At this point, the door opens once again, and the Ministers of Defense, Xenophor, enters back into the room, flanked by 2 guards, closes the door again, kind of looks around, kind of goes back to you, Aria. Just kind of says, "Has anything happened since I was gone?"
The zone of truth was made, and everyone here claims that they had nothing to do with it.
Zone of Truth, who casted it?
Oh snap, I don't remember who cast it.
Mute boy over there did.
Ha! Interesting. The only individual who can talk casted the spell. I do not want to come to any conclusions, but it seems a bit suspicious, does it not? And Nelio, yeah, oh, no, say.
I may have a way to make him be able to communicate.
Which is?
But it would require me making an attack against him. If I promise not to be deadly with it, it might work.
Neville kind of looks a bit. This is absurdity to say that Teliel would have killed Tyrone. He's under strict guidelines and can only do a number of things, which include obeying my orders at all times and the orders that supersede mine, which were given to him during his training from the Eximius High Council. He's a guardian, not a killer.
I understand it sounds ridiculous, but everyone else has declared their innocence, and he's the only one that cannot.
She kind of looks to you, Fiera.
I'll say this is a bit beyond me. This is honestly why I don't like politics. I'd rather go and find the real killer, rather than talk around in circles, blaming each other like children. But it's hard to move forward.
So...
You will not make an attack unless you understand why it is necessary.
Neville kind of looks around the room. She says, "Alright. Oh, alright. I understand." Kind of
So
looks...
as I hear the okay come out of his mouth, I immediately, a purplish blade appears in my hand out of nowhere. And I attack with my soul knife and use my ring to... I have to reread it exactly what it this. So I hit them. I can create a temporary link. And it has to be a yes or no question. And they have to answer it. Is that how I'm understanding that, Jack?
Yeah, I think that's correct. Now, I think the... Did I write that? Okay, yeah, he doesn't have to talk for you to know his answer.
Oh snap, I doubt that's gonna hit him.
Oh, your throws aren't coming through, unfortunately.
What? What? Okay, hang on. Let me... Because I did a test roll and it worked.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe just restart D&D Beyond, I guess. Ah, no, the 13. I would say you definitely get advantage since he literally isn't trying to dodge. The reason why I'm not just letting it hit, because you still have to pierce his heavy armor, since he definitely isn't going to take it off. Natural 20. Holy shit. Yep, that will definitely hit, even with his heavy armor.
Alright. So then I'm assuming I have to roll damage. So
Yes. Well, I presume you aren't using sneak attack on this, right?
no, I
Okay.
wasn't.
Jeez.
Oh, it automatically shows it as if I was. Okay.
Yeah. So that's 8. Did it really roll double? No, so you have to roll another d6. So that's
4?
no, it's only the roll, which was a 2 because your modifier is a +2, so it would be a total of 10.
Okay. That's so weird how it does that.
Well, it doesn't. Well, you can. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so
Still learning.
you see Arya whip out this kind of psychic knife that glows with this purple tint, and then you throw it. Yeah, how do you throw it at Taliel that immediately, pierces his armor with a natural 20? How does this look like?
So because I'm not trying to hurt him, I'm aiming for like me being as perceptive as I am. I would see like a little like gap between his armor and just throwing it directly into that gap. Like maybe like right here, like on his shoulder where
Yeah.
the two pieces connect.
Yep. You throw, and then a normal knife wouldn't have hit him, but since you're psionic, it kind of goes through, ethereally through the plate armor, so it just hits his flesh and then it pierces inside. What is the question that you ask him?
Did you kill Tyrone?
No, is the answer that you receive from the psionic link.
With my abilities, he has successfully answered the question as no. He did not kill Tyrone.
Alright. As the Ministers of Defense kind of looks around the room. Well, when everyone's name is cleared, I suggest we just investigate the room. Maybe there have been mechanisms implanted prior to you entering that could have their means of influence on killing Tyrone. So if you all wouldn't mind, I would first of all ask a couple of questions. Did anyone change their seat during the entire course of the meeting?
No.
Did anyone stand up or move from their seat at any point in the meeting? Yes, sir. I did. The Duke speaks up. I had to open the door since one of my attendants came to bring in the drinks. That is where I've left my seat, but I think beyond that, no one else has. No, someone else has. This artificer, artificer, he at a certain point in the conversation violently moved with his chair backwards.
I did in fact do that, but I did stay seated. I haven't moved from my position.
We're seeing that there's literally no evidence whatsoever. The Minister of Defense says, kind of walks up to you, looks you deep in the eyes. Well, it doesn't seem like you were even supposed to be here, so either you have been unknowingly been used as a victim, or you're innocent. Kind of also starts inspecting your chair and things around the chair. And while she's doing that, she can ask, so, why did you suddenly move violently in your chair?
I honestly, I don't actually know. I was talking about what I was asked during the meeting, and I just began to feel a wave of mental drain wash over me.
Huh. Sounds like a magical influence took you then. Right, anyone wish to care to explain this? Since I presume someone inside of this room did it.
Look at Azrael.
That was not me.
I believe you're the only one that's casted magic against people.
I did not do it. I detected some poison, and
You
the
detected
only
no
time...
poison, actually.
Yeah, I detected no poison, and then I did the other thing a little bit earlier and was scolded about it. I do believe if I had tried to do that to one of our own, the headmistress would have intervened.
Yes. I know that during the process of the meeting someone casted a spell, but I wasn't able to see them do it, so I wasn't able to react. However, for my senses, it wasn't a threatening spell that could harm people, so I decided to ignore it for now. Ministers, so on. So, no one? I think it is prudent for the individual to speak up, because if they are lying, they are having extremely suspicious reasons to do so, so please, it would be better to just speak the truth. What has happened to this poor artificer?
Do apologize for my intrusion. I sense that you were being withholding of information, and I tried to figure out what it was.
Alright. She should just answer the questions when I ask them, right? I know it wasn't you, but please, honesty right now is prudent. In fact, the only individual I can trust in this room right now is Arya. Everyone else still seems a bit negligent to talk. Has anyone stepped to or investigated Tyrone's seat yet?
Are we finally allowed to move?
Well, I think it's maybe if everyone else can check their seats carefully. I am not convinced that Tyrone was the target, since from the story Steelhammer told me while we were walking back, he said anyone could have chosen to drink something, but only Tyrone chose to. It was an unexpected visit, so nobody knew this was happening, which means any single one of us could have been targeted, unless the drink was a distraction and something was happening with maybe the chairs, I don't know, and certain movements would provoke something to trigger unnoticed. Speculations, I do not know. Or the other thing that seems odd to me is that you didn't have a sitting order established prior to the meeting, right? The Duke says, no, we did not. So, just to be on the safe side, please, check your chairs. Something might be underneath them, we do not know. And she kind of slowly steps towards where Tyrone is, and she will investigate her chair. And you can do whatever... Oh, I can go around. I wake. Okay, I will investigate it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, I would just say one by one. You can just say what you would like to do in this moment.
Oh, okay. I'm, without moving from like my seated position, I want to kind of just lean over and look at the floor underneath my chair. Does it look like there's any kind of like pressure plates or anything?
Make an investigation check. While you do that, Fiora, anything specific from you?
I'll ask, am I allowed to inspect by magic means, in case?
Yes, now I think this is a good time. But please do not cast any spells on other individuals, so hope you understand.
That, obviously. I guess I'll start preparing to detect magic. I don't have it ready, so it's going to take a few minutes.
Alright. Isabel, anything you would like to do?
I'm going to basically bend down and look under my chair, but also under the table, see if there's anything there.
Okay, make an investigation check. That's 17. Alright. I guess we're gonna start with... Or Ave, you can tell me how or what you would like to specifically investigate, since you kind of just rolled.
I was just looking at the floor directly beneath, like, my chair.
Okay, you look beneath. Doesn't seem like there's anything suspicious. You don't see wounds lying around, stuff like that. Seems ordinary, like a chair. Eric, you investigate. The only thing I've noticed that you kind of see is a little skid mark from when you jutted back with your chair, but other than that, seems like a normal wooden floor, no pressure plates or anything like that in your immediate vicinity. Yeah, floor seems okay, chair seems okay. Isabel, you also check down on the floor. Look around, you look under the table. Doesn't seem to be anything there. Look down at your chair. Maybe you kind of take the risky move of maybe tilting it a bit to maybe see if anything's underneath the legs of the chair. Also, it doesn't seem like anything is there either. And while you're kind of all doing that, you can see the Duke kind of isn't doing that. Since he already has stand up and moved a lot, he kind of just assumes that his chair is okay. The Duchess is kind of also slowly doing that. The head judges is also similarly kind of looking around. And after maybe like a couple of minutes, we can say, Fiera, you can finish preparing your spell.
Okay. I assume people have magic items on them, so that's not my worry. I'm just gonna find or look for anything that isn't on a person that they're carrying. Ceiling, floor, walls, window, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, your magical sense kind of emanates from you. Does anything visually happen when you cast that spell?
I think for her eyes would just glow a little bit more blue, almost like they're a flame.
Yeah, and you take vision. You can definitely see, almost everyone here has some kind of magic item attached to their body, but you kind of ignore them for the most part. Make a investigation check.
Natural 20.
Incredible. You don't see anything magically suspicious immediately. You can see a few arcane runes have been placed on the door. It's obviously kind of been made safe, even with magical means, which means it's warded to a certain sense. People outside of the room won't be able to hear what's going on inside. You know that much. You also know that, and you get this because you're now extremely keen, there is, and it's extremely suspicious, nothing currently can be used as evidence. There's literally, like, there's no way he could have died. Like, anything would have given some sort of sign, even when casting a spell. But you do see an extremely faint trace of necrotic energy on the place where Tyrone was sitting, and it's so faint because something was there that emanated necrotic energy but has left since, and you're only seeing like the kind of traces of where it once was.
Okay. Oh god, what's the headmaster's name?
Rino Pilar.
It's in a 4.
Oh no, that's the Ministers of Defense. I think you mean the headmaster.
For like the what's it called? Like the officers.
Yeah, Rino Pilar.
Rino Pilar. Like you read that down quick. So I have it.
That's the headmaster?
That is the the writing and talking at the same time, not a good idea.
The headmaster of research and development.
So yeah, so official title is Ministress, but people refer to her as headmaster. I'm pretty sure I have written her name before, but here's it again because she has this funky ass name.
Gotcha. It is a she.
Yes. Yep. Ministress.
Right. Miss Ainu Pindri, maybe you can confirm this for me. I believe your senses are probably as good as mine. Can you take a look at this one spot? And from like a foot away, I'll just like point right at it. Believe something's left over.
I certainly can.
Keep your distance though. Just for safety.
Right. She then will also start casting Detect Magic. And well, it's extremely faint, so she will also see it. She's like, huh. You're right, good eye. This is extremely faint. The Ministers of Defense says, so what is it? Well, I will give you the honors, you found it.
Well, I can only ascertain so much. Seems at one point a necrotic spell was placed on this chair, and once Tyrone sat on it, he activated it, and now there seems only be a trace left.
I will kind of do quick correction there, since you was a natural 20. Sure. You know it isn't attached to anything in this room, this weird trace. And that's kind of even weirder if you think about it. So it must have been brought in at some point.
Oh, okay. Okay, then instead I'll say, somehow necrotic magic was brought into this space, like probably by an unknown means. Maybe an object, maybe something unseen.
I didn't notice a spell being cast besides what I will now presume Arya did. I know there are ways to silently do so, but also visually I didn't see anyone do any movements, so I can maybe presume it wasn't a spell caster, but maybe something different. Ministers of Defense kind of approaches the area cautiously. She was already in there when she was investigating it, she didn't notice it. Can start looking around. Right, well, we have a group of artificers here, that is quite helpful. Tell me, has any one of you have any experience with maybe magical items that use necrosis or necrotic to wound or even kill potentially someone silently? No, I do not delve in necrotic magic. I usually just do enchantments, and not even weaponry. I just do trinkets, stuff like that.
I myself am much more of the mechanic type. I don't necessarily have the mind or the knowledge of whatever is happening here.
But you could maybe think of a way that it could have potentially been done, right?
Given some time to process what happened, yes. Off the top of my head, without really looking deep at things, I don't really have that knowledge.
Well, let's say if you would make an educated guess, the best means of simulating what has happened here, what would you have done if you were trying to silently assassinate someone in a room without any mages knowing that you are currently doing so?
Could imagine somebody could have planted something on the body prior to them entering, on some sort of timer, something that might run its course at a certain time, something that could have been triggered from elsewhere. We've already looked at our chairs, at our surroundings. Something could have triggered it, of course. The glass itself that Tyrone drank out of, I know we've talked about it being checked for poisons. Maybe there's some kind of system in that glass that released something. I'm unsure.
Yes. That is a good speculation. The Duke kind of speaks up and says, alright, this is obviously a very unique situation. As much as I would like to have the main investigators take care of this, unfortunately I am unable to do so, since we are currently discussing matters that, well, let's just say no one else should know of. We are dealing with extremely sensitive information here. So I would like to limit the amount of people who know about this for the time being until we maybe get a conclusive and comprehensible answer. So my suggestion is we should try to take care of this with the resources we have now, if everyone is okay with this.
Has Arrington left yet?
Yes.
Unfortunate.
This is going to make the entire endeavor a little bit more difficult. However, shouldn't be impossible. Our Duke, would you maybe be able to send a request to Collis? Maybe ask the king if we can have investigators look at their body to get results. The Duke says, well, I don't really want to address the king by saying that one of his diplomats has died, but that can certainly be done. In the meantime, however, I think we should take care of things that we are able to take care now. There are a few threads we can follow. I think maybe it is wise to, I don't know, start with the glass. This isn't my specialty.
May I? And I'll get up and start walking towards the glass and kind of trying not to make eye contact with anyone, but just, you know, starting to open up my eyes to the room around me. And as I'm walking over, you'll see I'll pull out from one of my pouches by my waist what looks like just a lens, like almost like a small version of like a space helmet lens, and I'll pull over onto my eyes a set of goggles, and I affix that lens to those goggles, and I begin investigating or inspecting the glass.
Okay. Make an investigation check, or if you're doing anything magical, you can also add that.
I am just double checking. Where did it go?
I think you want to use your goggles, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to make an investigation check first to see if anything immediately pops out at me. Jesus.
Yeah, no. Seems like a normal glass from the looks of it. That is empty.
And then
I'll as I see you do that, I'll just like slightly tower over you and say, Do you need a little bit of guidance?
I can imagine that would only help.
With your permission, and I put my hand on your shoulder, I'll give you a little push.
You receive guidance.
All right. Because we've started talking about the potential magic of it all, I'm going to use my goggles and do an Arcana check on it to see if I get anything from it.
Okay.
Click.
Oh. Okay, you dodged that roll. Wait, why is it red? Is that a natural 20?
That's because of the guidance.
Oh no, it's just the guidance added a 1, so it's counting it as a critical fail for some reason.
Oh, it's a 19. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like super confused.
Fascinating.
Do you have advantage because of the goggles? Or what do
I did that. I did roll advantage, yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah.
You inspect the glass, and it seems like a intricately designed crystal glass, but has no magical properties whatsoever on it. And you kind of guess from Fiera and your headmaster that kind of also did detect magic. They didn't sense anything magical come from the glass itself. Unless there's some means of hiding that it has any magical properties, but with your high roll, your unnatural natural 20 that is red is a special number. You kind of get a sense now that it is a normal glass. There isn't anything on it per se.
Well, if there's nothing on this, I'm just gonna start checking around the entire seating area.
Okay, can make an investigation check. Anyone else want to do anything while Irik is kind of heavily investigating this area?
I would turn to the Duke and say, with all the respect that is due to you, Duke, I think we should investigate the cart, the beverages, and the maid that brought the cart in, and see if they have anything to do with this. We cannot put it past them, unfortunately.
You see he's kind of holding in his pride, but he's aware of the situation, and he kind of says, yes, I understand. That is a good point you make. Right. Well, Mistress Zinafor, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you can take your investigations outside of the castle, and we will take care of things here. I think maybe this is a bit larger than only what is happening inside of this room, and maybe while you're at it, if you could send anyone who could be potentially affiliated with the maid or retainer who brought in the beverages, to send them over into this room. But please, do not let the retainers know what has occurred, and do not let anyone know inside of the castle that this has happened. Say that the special alert is due to, well, a potential demonic threat that has been detected by the Treehouse of Selivanart. I think that should be well enough. Alright, if you say so. Well, Arya, since you're here, I will let you maybe inform me later if you find anything else, or if anyone else finds anything else. I shall take my leave now. And you see the Ministers of Defense just kind of gives you the acknowledging nod, Arya, and then starts stepping out of the room. You still have like 2 guards inside of the room itself, just, for extra protection if anything else that could be happens, but she leaves and is, as far as you're concerned, trying to get anyone affiliated with the glass, including the maid or
To the Duke and Duchess, hey, can I examine his room? Maybe what happened beforehand and not during.
That is a good idea. Let's first of all maybe stick together here. Wait until the retainers come, and then we can slowly make our way outside of this room. I fear that if we maybe separate ourselves, we will become easy victims. We still aren't.
You think that we're all at risk?
Well, from what the Ministers of Defense said, it didn't seem maybe like it was a targeted attack. It could have been randomly chosen to maybe disrupt the meeting in one way or another. So I apparently cannot guarantee your safety while even inside of my own four walls. So just to keep casualties at a minimum.
Fair.
It would be wise. Unless you have better suggestion.
I'm only worried that there is some sort of trail left behind, as if it was an assassin, it seems to be a pretty high-end one. It may grow cold if we wait too long.
Oh, that is a very good point. Maybe if we shall go in groups, then this will make it a bit more better.
I would volunteer myself to go with Dr. Fiera if it is okay with you, since we can apparently both detect magical means.
Where you go, I go.
Right. Anyone else wish to leave the room?
I imagine stuff like this might come in handy if you're looking, and I'll pull up a chisel out of one of my little bandolier pouches, and I'll just start screwing like a little screw that's on the side of the handle, and the blade of the chisel is just going to start to glow, and it's going to act like a little flashlight. So I can just start poking around in the dark underneath things and start looking. I'm sure I could help.
Do you,
Yeah, useful.
you also see Reno Pilar, the headmaster, also kind of step aside you, Eric, and she kind of addresses the people who wish to leave and said, Eric, I think it's also good that you go with them. If anything else gets discovered about this has any uses for the chrysalis, I think they need an expert if that comes up, alright? I have the gut feeling that it may be related, so keep my eye out on that. Well, I guess I can address this for everyone. If anyone finds out that this has some kind of connection with the chrysalises, please notify me. Do you have a way, some means of contacting anyone?
I can send messages to anyone, anywhere that I've seen.
Alright. Okay.
Don't be surprised if it's an animal, but it'll get to you.
I understand. Well then, I think they should be safe enough. Your Fiora scenario kinda step to you and says, well, I hope you will be safe here. I think I will stay here for the time. Do you want Taliel to go with you?
No, we should keep him. I'll be fine. I think I'm ready for this.
Alright, just be safe, alright?
Of course.
Did you kind of stand up and says, alright, since you are already leaving, maybe it would also be wise if you just check on the retainers also, since it would be too complicated to send them here and then send them back. Maybe you can find out things that occurred there, since they had to somehow get a message. And they mentioned the kitchen. Hold on a moment. He kind of takes out a note and starts writing something. Here, if anyone asks about permission, you have direct permissions from me, the Duke. Kind of hands you an over.
Take that.
And it's just like an official note. Kind of, he just wrote it, but it has his signature on it. Which just kind of states that any requests asked by these individuals have been given permission from the Duke Leander Verratgeber.
Right. Those are two teams. Be safe.
Oh, do you have a key or something I can get in his room?
Just ask any of the retainers. They should have their keys on hand. If one specific retainer doesn't have it, just ask for a Revel butler. They usually have master keys to all rooms.
That is how you write it. 2 elves. It is 2 elves. I didn't miswrite it. It was 2 elves. And Arya and Isabel, you would know this name. That's a common name used in Elven high society for like butlers in a manager position. So it's kind of the head butler, so to speak. Because you also have these butlers at your houses. Okay. Quick on the investigation, the 26 investigation check. Did we already discuss that? What did you investigate once again?
No, I was just looking at just where Tyrone was sitting, the tabletop, the underneath the table, just what everybody else was doing for their own chairs. And
Yep. Literally nothing. It seems like whatever the source was entered with Tyrone and left with Tyrone.
Yep.
Okay. This is a good point to take a break, since
Yes.
the party got together
Yay.
For now.
finally. I don't have to roleplay myself anymore. So we're gonna take a quick break because I also gotta pee.
Yep.
And I am currently thinking whether or not I should stop the recording or if I should just switch to a different screen, because if I stop the recording and start another one, I will have to put them both together and then export a 4-hour file once again. If I keep it in one 4-hour file, I can just immediately upload it to YouTube.
Seems easier.
Yeah, so I will just... Oh, I got an idle screen. Holy shit, man, I'm a genius.
Oh, there you go.
we're
The anticipation is so high. When is it gonna start?
Oh, it really has.
Yeah, it definitely has. It definitely has.
That element of surprise.
It's slowly fading. Matt already has got to read on me.
Yep.
It's only a limited amount of time that I can do it. Okay, you guys are in a group, and we say you just stepped out of the room. You can see the large hallways once again. Oops, I accidentally closed everything. Yeah, what is it that you would like to do as you see the large corridors? You can see a few retainers in the distance kind of running around, but
Eirik exhales, takes this massive deep breath, and just like you can see just like stress like melt off of him just from getting outside of that room.
The minute the door closes behind her, Isarel just starts. What have I done? What did I do? What did I? Oh shit! Oh no! Oh! What have I done?
Hey!
Oh, what have I done?
Hey! Stop! Hey! Stop! We'll figure it out. Figure it out.
I swear I didn't do anything. We have to figure out what happened.
I do believe you. Whoever did this is pretty keen. That's for sure.
I go up to my dear friend, and I just kind of grab your arms, and I go, breathe. It's okay. We all make mistakes. We just move forward. Okay?
Yeah, I almost caused a freaking diplomatic incident on my first mission.
You won't tell your father. It's okay.
Dad is going to kill me.
He's not gonna know. Okay? We'll figure this out and it'll be fine. Deep breaths. Next
Okay.
step forward. And we go.
Alright,
You good?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Yes, let's, excuse me, over there. Are you a retainer on this floor?
You see one of the younger half elves kind of look up. So, yes. Kind of rushes once towards you. How may I help you?
Yes, can you lead us to Tyrone's room? We need to check it out. They left in a hurry, so we want to make sure that nothing was left behind.
Tyrone? Maybe you heard.
The Colis
Understood.
representative. Yes.
Yes, sir. Of course, of course. Please just follow me. And then he, Jesus Christ, now I'm getting all pronouns confused. Jesus Christ. He leads you out of the main castle keep. You go back to the courtyard surrounded by these high walls, step down the kind of entryways that you used that is built inside of the cliff itself. While doing so, you see a lot of guards kind of passing you by, seeing them stationed there. And as you kind of walk out in the courtyard, I guess you can all make a perception check, since I will just presume you are keeping your eye out for stuff. Few of you are focused on the deed at hand, and your vision is more focused straightforward. Some of you just try to see if the environment has changed a bit since the Duke has given the order to kind of put up protection measures, and you can definitely see they're currently being taken. So you're going out, like I said, a lot of guards are now stationed around, but one thing you can notice is high above the sky you can suddenly see huge eagles that are flying around, and those of you who have a very perceptive eye can see that there are mounted individuals atop these eagles that are currently keeping an eye on the surrounding castle, almost like a, what's that called, a scavenger bird looking for a prey, just keeping their eyes on things happening in the immediate vicinity. But nonetheless, other than that, you kind of see a few other nobles who are inside the castle who are just kind of whispering to each other, just curious on what's going on, why this sudden measure of security has been taken. But you kind of quickly step past them and are led to the familiar building, which some of you spent the night, some of you just arrived a few hours ago, and one of you stepping inside of here for the first time, which is Eirik, and you are led to the opposite room of where you were staying, Fiera, and the door is there, and the retainer kind of just unlocks it and opens it and says, this is Sir Tyrone's room. Is there anything else? I shall just wait here outside if there's any need for my assistance.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good to me.
We will be closing the door. Just to keep conversations in here.
He fully understands. He's just a retainer. He has no right to argue with that. And just kind of steps aside, and you can enter the room.
Well, Yara, should we look for magic?
Well, we should. I was gonna give a quick lesson, as I make sure the door is closed. Just a reminder, what was used to kill Tyrone was necromancy. But there are two sides of that coin. Necromancy brings life, and it can also take it away. Just be very careful. If you see something you don't understand, come to me or someone qualified to look at it.
Is there anything that we should be keeping an eye out that could be alerting us of it that the naked eye would see?
I should look to Eirik up. Actually, he might know more than me. You build magic items, right? That's your job.
Well, yeah, I've certainly had my hands around some different magic items before, yes, but I mean nothing to what would have resulted in that before. But I can only say that it would probably be best to just not touch anything. If you see something on a table, anything, just don't touch it. Especially in this room, because I don't know if maybe someone's come in here after. Maybe they've planted something again, and maybe if Tyrone hadn't been killed then and there, maybe they were hoping to come and kill him here. So maybe there was stuff that, maybe they've planted more things here. So anyway, just don't touch things.
Yeah, that's fine. Not touch.
So use my dagger?
Yeah, exactly.
We should at least do a first sweep to make sure there's no magical items that might have been left behind. I can also try to see if I could detect poison or diseases or stuff like that.
If you wish. Then I'll start just looking around the room for things out of the ordinary. Objects.
I'm just gonna detect magic in the room.
Okay. Then anyone who's investigating can make an investigation check. And anyone who's casting spells can just cast a spell.
Good, huh? We're such a smart group. Our last one.
Yeah.
It's the ones that everyone has increased. Okay, I guess we're gonna start off with Isabel, since she's the magic user. You cast Detect Magic, and well, I will ask you the same question as this with Fiera. How does it look? Do you have a visual component to it after you cast a spell?
So if anyone would be looking at Isarel, they would see her eyes kind of cloud a little bit, and her hands are softly glowing, and it's almost as if her hands were doing the searching instead of herself, her eyes basically. And for herself, if she's looking at a magical items, it's kind of glittering in the air.
Okay, yeah. You see a few glitters around. On each person itself, you see a little glitter as you expect. But you also see, on the door, the lock glitters a bit. It's an arcane lock. You can see on the windows also arcane runes to enforce them. An abjuration magic you can feel very heavily, probably like a blue tint kind of arises. But most households with large windows have to have that, otherwise they get shattered by the high storms. Other than that, it doesn't seem to be any prudent or obvious magical items or things that you can see within this room, and at this point I will probably take time to explain how this room looks like. Very familiar to the rooms you all had, very wide, 30 feet wide. There's two double beds in the middle. You can see on the left side there's a room that leads to probably the bathroom, and on the right side you can see what looks to be a fireplace with a chimney that leads up. As Eirik, Fiera... Wait, Arya, are you doing something specific?
I'm trying to just kind of look around, like areas where he may, like, is that there like the desk, where he could like specifically like sit and see if there's anything like on it.
Okay, then you can also make an investigation check. 20, dang, everyone's for 20 or higher. Holy shit. You start combing the room, fanning it like a search squad, looking for anything that could indicate to anything else. Search the bathroom, seems to be fine, doesn't seem to have been used. You look at the desk. You notice there at some point recently someone probably would have used the desk and written something on it, and you can see it because you have extremely keen eyes, that's why you notice it, that there's like every time you write you put pressure on the paper, and if the paper isn't very thick you will have a small groove left behind on the wood, which is almost impossible to see. But just with the right reflection, because the wood that is being used for this desk is a very soft wood, very nice to the touch, you can see that there are a few indentations that give you the impression that a letter at some point was written on this desk, and probably because he had a strong dwarven grip, it's a bit more evident, the grooves on the table, that something has been written. But it's not enough to discern what has been written. You just know at some point he has written a note here, or someone has written a note here. Whether or not it was actually Tyrone, whether or not it was Steelhammer, whether or not it was a guy who came after him inside of here, you don't know, but someone with a fairly strong grip wrote something on this table. In the meanwhile, Eirik, you're looking around. Fiera, you're looking around. Fiera, you kind of also maybe look for maybe traces of magical wounds, things that could have maybe been placed underneath the bed when you light on top of it could have channeled some divine energy onto him, or necrotic energy. You don't find anything like that. You can see that the bed has been made since he's left. Retainers have, kind of polished it to make it usable again. You try to look maybe at the windows, points of entry, maybe illusory stuff that could potentially hide something. Nothing's there. While Eirik, you kind of investigate the right side of the room. You look at the chimney. Look inside of the chimney, maybe look up the chimney. Kind of put your goggles on just to shield your eyes from the dust that's swaying around there. And as you kind of moving your hand around it, you do see a thing that has been burned up inside of here. You take it out. It's a little piece of... It would be the equivalent of what would be plastic in our world. It's to hold something inside. And the best way I can describe it is... It's a little plaque that has multiple indentations inside of it, like the packaging of a pill case. Like if you get pills from medicine, that plastic thing with the pills inside, it kind of looks extremely similar to that, but it's mostly burnt up, and you can only get a small part of it where you can only recognize 3 of these indentations, but they are empty. That's all you find.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still looking in the fireplace, I'll just hold it up behind me and like here, I don't know, anyone want to look at this?
I'd go look at it
Okay, look at it.
and see if I might know what it is.
You can either make a history or an investigation check. Good choice. God dang. The other one, real good.
We need it.
It's nice to see my character work the way that she's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see something you recognize immediately. This is definitely something to hold pills. So at some point this was a bigger case, had multiple pills inside of it that could be taken out and be used. It's not super uncommon. Even common folk usually have these things. Some medicine nowadays been highly compressed to put inside of these to specifically enact things that happen inside of the body, where healing magic outside isn't as effective. Certain poisons can only be cured if, touched directly, and obviously otherwise you would have to cut open the stomach. Pills are being used to treat those kind of diseases. But obviously there are a lot of different ways where you could use such a pill. Not only is it, things that happen inside can only be detected from the inside. If being swallowed, it'd be harder to detect from the outside. So once the pill is inside, people will have, problems trying to detect it. That said, it can't be poison, since Icewill did detect poison, and even if it's inside of a body, she would still be able to sense poison. And the reason why it's not poison is you can see a little number marked on it. It's not the full number, but it's enough to give you an idea. You've worked with, certain types of people. You've encountered people who do illegal stuff. And this seems very reminiscent of something that's used by smugglers. And the way they use it is it's the same like KO pills. You give it to people, and so they don't grab any attention or spells can't be detected on them to feel the presence. You give them these pills, and they become unreactive. So smugglers use them to give them to people that they want to have smuggled inside of somewhere. You can't have living individuals have to breathe and stuff like that inside of a crate, because they would make motions, they would make sounds. So usually you give them pills to kind of take them in, and then they kind of fall out. So this is definitely some high-ranking either smuggler or underground agent has used these to do something.
Oh, these pills are... How do we put this lightly? Knockout pills? Probably use to avoid detection by some not law-abiding people.
I hate to even be thinking of this, but should we start considering that this whole thing might have been staged by Colis to make the Lichness look bad?
It's interesting that you said that, because with what that was found, it kinda sounds like that it's possible. He very well not be dead, which is why they wanted him out of the room, so that he didn't come back to.
Yeah. If they were worried about him waking up again, they certainly needed to get him out of there.
Did you say, Arya, that it seemed like he used his desk?
Yes, he used it recently. I can't see exactly what he wrote, but he definitely wrote recently.
It's worth a shot. I'll try something, and I'll go over to the desk and druid craft some either soil or dirt to try to put in the indentations to try and see if we can figure out what was written. See if it makes words or anything that would make sense of anything.
I guess this would also be an investigation check, because it kind of uses your intelligence to try and figure that out.
Yeah.
Because I showed her, kind of where the indents were, could she have advantage on that?
I mean,
helping her show her where they are.
I
Right there. You gotta put the dirt right there.
I would say you pointing that out is the prerequisite of her even being able to do the check in the first place. So unfortunately,
Yeah.
I mean 18 is not bad.
yeah, you kind of. I'll just describe once again how you are doing this.
Yeah. So it looks like Isarel's hand is glowing again, and it looks like she's just slowly like pouring a little bit of dirt or soil, and she's kind of feeling the grooves to try to like put it in there and just gently trying to trace whatever was written to see if she recognizes any word at all
Yeah.
or symbol.
You do that, and as you're kind of doing that, you start seeing a few letters that pop up. You start seeing the vague sentence that was probably written on top of here. Does any one of you speak Dwarvish?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Do we all speak Dwarvish?
No. I
No,
don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
Oh, I saw too. They were like,
I was surprised.
okay, then. Well, I would just share it with everyone because the others of them will probably translate, but this is kind of what you get from scribbling it out. But it's written in Dwarvish. I should probably write it there.
Oh.
Dwarvish? Did I write Dwarvish right? Probably not. Dwarvish? Is it with V? Eh?
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
V.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Dwarvish.
Dwarvish. Yeah.
Okay. That is. I guess if anyone wants to read it out loud, so the other people can.
You.
The one that speaks Dwarvish should read it.
Yep.
Oh, who has a Dwarven accent? Greg? Yeah. What?
I don't have an accent, no, but it says, you have about, I'll be, warehouse in 30 minutes.
How long were we in that meeting before he appeared to be dead?
You can either rewatch the VOD or you can give me a history check. $12.
Pretty long meeting.
The meeting itself, maybe like around somewhere between half an hour and an hour.
Yeah.
I assume the Steelhammer guard had a hammer that was probably made out of steel as a bodyguard.
Yeah, that's the first thing he showed when he was introduced.
Okay. I'm just gonna quickly cast Locate Object on that hammer and see if it's within 1,000 feet. As you guys watch me cast a spell, a locket comes out of my right side of my robe, starts floating above my hand as needles start to spin.
Okay.
I'm leaning forward and taking a look at that.
You locate object, try and find them. Oh, no, it. It's an object.
Steelhammer's hammer.
Yeah, Steelhammer's hammer. There's no ping within 1,000 feet of you. But just to give you an awareness, because the city is friggin' large, 1,000 feet.
It's probably miles.
Yeah, 1,000 feet would reach right around here. So you wouldn't even reach the inhabitant part of the city. So if they're anywhere around here, there would be a way.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about anyways. That's fine.
Yeah, so he isn't in the vicinity. You know, he's definitely not within the planes, the high planes of high society.
I thought the Duke mentioned that they left. Why is there mention of a warehouse?
Where were you working on information about the chrysalis? I'm assuming it was in a warehouse of some kind.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. It was in a warehouse.
Who else knew about the chrysalis that you guys were investigating?
People in there. People in the room. The people I came with. My group. That's...
Were you guys the only ones that knew? Could they have shared it with anyone?
Oh, well, I have no idea. I mean, I don't have any control or knowledge about what other people do with information. We worked on the stuff that we were brought there. I don't even know where it is, honestly.
Is it kind of close?
I probably wouldn't even be able to find it even if I knew.
Jack's hard at work typing.
I gotta take note on what you guys are saying.
So I guess since that location is secret, you guys were told to keep your investigations secret as well. Now, whatever the other people in your group decided to do, you don't know, but that's what was told to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, you heard what Buddy in there said. He's got 2 kids. So he might just be talking all kinds of stuff at home. I have no idea.
Who brought you in to the warehouse first?
Well, Renupina did. That's it. That was our job. We do research.
But Colas has no reason to work against you.
Against me? Specifically me?
Alright. Against Azathia as a whole. Against your people.
I don't even know what is going on right now. Up until yesterday when I had to do research on this stuff, I was working for my friend. He's a farmer. I don't know.
So you've just come into contact with those chrysalises. You've never worked with them before yesterday.
I admit, no, it's not my first time coming in contact with them. I know what these are. But I've never spent time the way that I spent time yesterday with it.
I want to make it clear that I'm not making accusations against you. I'm trying to figure out what, as a group, we know of these things.
Oh, that's totally fine. I'm just saying, I do my work. I'm not at all in this to make trouble for people. It's very overwhelming. None of us really wanted to go in there and do this kind of research. It seemed a little bit ridiculous.
And while my friend here is talking about we're not trying to accuse you, I want to apologize formally for invading your mind earlier.
Thank you. Don't do that.
He said I wouldn't
I was kind of going through everybody's mind, so I apologize. I didn't mean any harm by it. Okay? I'm sorry.
Okay, well, there was a little bit of harm.
I didn't mean to. I really, truly didn't mean to.
Alright.
So now what? We've looked at the room. We have this note. We know about those pills that he may have taken. It means he
Or
might not
was
be
made.
dead. Made to take, yes.
Yeah.
Didn't the person that delivered the glass say
Maybe that's
that...
next.
Didn't the person that delivered the drinks have a note?
Yes, a note was left in the kitchen to bring drinks, I believe, at a certain time. We should check that next.
I think it
I'm
would.
curious. Sorry to interrupt you. But I'm curious if that note could have been, because if we were in that meeting for about half an hour, maybe Tyrone took the pill when he was given the drink. Maybe it was saying you have 30 minutes to get out of there.
It is also something that I'm curious about it, if that note was from him or about him needing to be out of the meeting in half an hour. I guess our next course of action would be to go to the kitchen and see if we can get our hands onto that note.
Possibly speak with the person who delivered the drinks.
Sounds good to me.
I don't think we're going to find much more here. The dwarves got here. I think they got here like this morning or something, so I don't think they were in this room for very much a long time.
Before we leave the room, are you able to clean this up so nobody else can really like see what was written?
I mean, anyone with a blade can just kind of scratch off the top of the desk.
Well, I mean, I don't want to scratch the desk. I just mean like the dirt. Can you like make it go away just as fast as you made it appear?
Oh yeah. And I just remove whatever dust or soil I put on the desk.
Are you...
No, I'm just basically using my hand like, oh yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
you
but
know.
are you also like trying to get rid of the light scratch marks that are left behind by the handwriting, or are you just literally just trying to get rid of the dirt?
I'm just trying to get rid of the dirt.
Okay, yeah, I guess make a survival check, just to clean things up. Yeah,
It's pretty clean.
it's fucking clean, man. You're used to cleaning things. I mean, your room is probably extremely clean, and you know you can druid craft things away. And what's in it just looks a barren table, as it was before when you entered the room. As good as it gets.
I mean, are we thinking about actually removing those marks from the table to make it look like nothing's happened here?
I was kind of thinking that we should.
I mean, we can give it our best try, absolutely. I'll go and pull out another tool. And it's just like a little hand plane that you just run across the top of some of the wood and just place it down on top of the scratch marks and just start running it back and forth, and I'm going to cast Mending as I'm planing the top of the desk.
Very nice. Yeah, you don't have to even check for that. It just disappears. The marks that were there just kind of fill it a bit. Yeah, and have successfully taken away the marks left behind on the table.
It was cool.
Very cool.
I mean, you work with a bunch of stuff, bunch of tools. You kind of learn how to get the best out of them.
Digging our group so far, guys. We all have different skills that could be of use. So to the kitchen?
Yeah, let's have the retainer bring us. That'll be easiest.
Yeah.
Real fast before we leave, is there a trunk or anything in here that would have had like his belongings in it?
Yeah, at the end of each bed there are a lot of cupboards, shelves, and 2 trunks, large trunks that are set there.
I want to look in one of the trunks real fast.
I would say you probably would have already with the investigation check you made in the
okay.
beginning. Yeah, you combed the entire room. There doesn't seem to have been anything left behind.
Well, now that we know about the pills, I was wanting to know if there was like anything that could be similar to it. But we didn't think anything of it at first.
Oh, yeah, then you can make another investigation check. That is a good point. Jesus Christ, look at these rolls! Holy shit!
Wow.
I mean, yeah. Until combat comes and then natural ones.
Yeah.
will be flying.
Hey, quiet, all right?
Yeah, so like anything about the pills or something that could distinguish who he could be working with.
Yeah, you kind of look inside the trunks, kind of try to look at anywhere else where something could be, but you don't find anything.
Had to try. You never know.
Yeah,
Could have overlooked something.
definitely could have. So, what is your plan for the next step?
I'll open the door and see if the retainer's still out there.
Yep, patiently standing there.
Hey, we are finished up here. Next, we need a tour of the kitchen, please.
Yes, very well. Which one?
Whichever one would have brought drinks up here.
Up at the castle during the meeting.
So in the high castle and not in the noble estate we are currently in.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You run back out, just for the sake of time. You kind of run back to the high castle. And the one thing you would notice, everyone, as you kind of stepping back inside, or as you attempt to, you know, these heavy towers which were set at the base of the cliff on which the high castle was built upon, where you could see there were like huge ballistas set there, the guards. First of all, have increased dramatically. They're probably around 50 or so, just chilling there. And as you start to approach, you see one higher ranking figure would have probably stopped you, but after showing him the note, the Duke, he would have let you through without any question. And you kind of run up back. Go back to the interior of the large hallways. This time you would go right instead of left. And at some point you would come to the castle, which is kind of, not castle, to the kitchen area, which is a bit separated. As you walk inside, there seems to be a larger, not hallway, but a kind of just normal hall. And then it's separated by a, not barrier, but like a, I can only remember the German word again. Like a counter, there's a long counter similar to a bar. And posted on top of it, similar to kitchen, are a lot of notes. Probably orders that are being taken where they have to be taken to. But currently, you don't see a lot of them up there. There are maybe like 2 or 3 at the moment. It's about maybe like 10 feet wide, so a lot of notes can be put on there at the time. And behind this counter, you see a large kitchen area where there are a lot of, workers, chefs, cooks currently doing things. And they seem to be a bit busy, although you can also see a few mingling around and talking with each other, probably gossiping about what is currently happening inside. But you can also see in each of the corners there's currently a guard stationed there. And you are led inside. What would you like to do?
Do I happen to see the person that had delivered the drinks?
Make a perception check.
And I would like to take a look at the notes that are currently
Holy shit. Dang. This is unreal. This is like, you wouldn't have been TPK'd if you were this good.
Literally.
Too soon, Jack.
Oh shit.
Feels bad.
Okay, next time. Okay. You look around and you see inside of the kitchen itself, there are a couple of people lined up currently, and one of them is the retainer or maid that brought in the drinks. And kind of right as you see that, you can also see the ministers of defense kind of walk in into the kitchen at the back. She kind of is talking to them because she was appointed to bring them to the meeting room at first. But as she's kind of talking with them, she kind of looks out and she would see you since you're currently standing out in the open. And then she would kind of just call you over. And while you do that, Isaro, you look at the count itself, look at the different listings. They all seem just like ordinary things that are being requested, drinks in room 2, second floor, food, room 1, third floor, and stuff like that. Doesn't seem like anything that is noteworthy, which is ironic because there are a lot of notes, but the notes aren't noteworthy. Excuse my pun there.
I would probably look for someone that looks like either a revel butler or a head chef or something, and just trying to catch their attention while Arya goes over to talk to the ministress.
Yeah, you can see that the ministress has kind of lined up several people, one of them being the retainers that delivered the drinks, and it seems like an individual who could probably be the head chef just from his overly large hat, and an individual that seems like a Revel butler is also present, and 2 other seems like kitchen staff members who are there. So kind of there's like an area of interest where the ministers is.
So then I would follow Arya to where the ministress is.
Okay. Fiera, Eric, are you doing anything different?
Can I see if there's a stack of completed orders? Like you might put them like on a pin or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. Immediately right next to where there's lined up on one of the sides, just a pin where these things are being put on. Can definitely see a stack. And it also seems fairly empty. Seems like the day hasn't been that busy. There might be like max of 5 and 10.
Perfect, I'll go look at those.
Okay. And Eric, are you going or looking at anything specifically?
I'm gonna go over to whatever counter, table, anything that looks like it was like a prep area, somewhere they would have prepared the orders, like the drinks or any food, seeing if there's any sign of pills maybe left behind, or any fancy tools or anything that's kind of just left out.
Okay, make an investigation check. Jesus Christ, this train ain't stopping. It really ain't stopping. You go there, and I will. So you kind of get in. You probably get asked by a few of the chefs, like, "What the hell are you doing here?" But then you explain the situation. They kind of let you through. You probably follow in with Aria and Isorel, since they also have to step into the kitchen itself to get to the Ministers of Defense and the other individuals that are lined up there. At first glance, there are a lot of tables where drinks could have been prepared. You get the sense probably what would have happened is the retainers on the outside, the main staff that delivers things, usually, they have a cart, and then the drinks that are necessary are just placed on the counter itself, where also the tasks are, just to quickly deliver them. There isn't like a specified area specifically made for drinks, if you know what I'm saying. And kind of looking at the counter, looking down, even if there would have been something left behind, probably would have been cleaned up by staff members, since this is a noble kitchen. It's probably being swept every 15 minutes or so by some staff member, so you don't find anything of note. And then meanwhile, Fiera, you kind of go to the finished tasks. You kind of look through them, but same thing as with Isorel, as you check the ones that are still WIP, work in progresses. You don't see anything particularly suspicious. Just normal orders. Maybe there's a code in there. I guess you can make an investigation check, yeah. And while you do that, Isorel and Aria, you walk over to the... Jesus, this is incredible. This is crazy.
I would like
Wow.
to say that Fiera, Eirik, and myself, so like the boys have a +7 to their investigation. I have a +6. So that helps.
Man, it's still high. It's like still above a 30.
This many.
It's
Yeah.
pretty nuts.
What was I saying? Yeah, you look through them, you can see that at some point something was definitely taken out of here. You can see a bit of remnants of broken bits of paper, maybe not probably teared off. Yeah. Aria, so we go to the defense ministers, and she kind of looks you over and says, so you're coming here now. I see you're separated into groups. I've kind of lined up, as the Duke said, some of the individuals who were responsible for making the drink order. But I have more important matters to attend to, so if you could just take this over, since you are here.
Yes, of course. Before you fully leave, I just want to kind of pull you aside for a second, tell you some things that...
Alright, kind of step to the side.
I kind of quickly kind of glance around, make sure that nobody's paying attention. And then I want to mention the writing that we had found. And ask if there's like any warehouses nearby that could be of interest that they would know of.
Kind of thinks for a moment. Don't you respond? Not in the vicinity. There the storage spaces where food and other important resources are kept for the High Castle, but I wouldn't consider them warehouses more than storage spaces. The main warehouses are usually kept at either the docks or on the farmlands or stuff like that, where a large amount of goods are being delivered. There are, as far as I'm concerned, no warehouse inside of the High Plains.
Thank you.
Alright, well, then I'll leave it up to you. Good luck. And she then just leaves. Exits. And you can see in front of you, like I said, there seems to be like a head chef guy. Seems to be a chef. There seems to be a kitchen ward. A head waiter. And kind of a young boy who is super confused what he's doing there. Like, he's super young. He's maybe like 14 or so. And then the maid or the retainer who brought in the drinks, and they're currently just all standing there looking a bit confused.
So, oh, go ahead.
I was just wondering who received the order for drinks for the room upstairs for the meeting.
You see all of them kind of looking confused at each other. The one small gnome who looks to be like the normal chef, typical everything white with a few green stripes, wears a funny chef's hat, says, I was one who saw the order at first.
Do you remember who delivered that order to you?
No, unfortunately not. Usually, we are busy preparing the orders and stuff, and if an order comes in, it is either one of the rebel battlers or other staff members from outside who place the orders inside of the kitchen, and then we just prepare them. And once they're finished, we just put the note on the outside of the counter, so they know that they're finished, so they can be taken by the staff members again. So we just wait for an order and note to arrive, and then we just do them. Yeah. And I was the one who saw the note first.
The orders, when they are written down for you, is it a staff member that writes it down and places it up, or is it someone else? Could it have been from someone on the outside trying to get an order in from somewhere else in the castle, or would it have been delivered to...
You see, the Revel butler kind of speaks up. Seems to be like a male half-elf, but extremely old. Wears typical butler's clothing, just with a few green accents on him, and he says, usually it's only through staff members that can give orders, or orders from civilians are always taken from staff members themselves. If anyone has a personal request, they can also just come into the kitchen themselves and ask for it. But then usually it is written on a note that is then redirected to the kitchen staff member. I am usually the individual who signs every note to confirm them, and then after that they are then relegated to the kitchen staff members, so they know it's an official order. So no, not anyone with a piece of paper can step inside to make a note. It always has to pass through me. It has to have my signature.
So whoever ordered drinks for the meeting would have gone through you to get it approved. Normally.
Exactly. But as I've mentioned to the ministers, I have not received any orders to deliver drinks to the meeting room, and I have signed no such papers.
Can we just can you sign something for us right now, just so we can see what your signature looks like?
Sure. I also have other notes that you can just look at, but I can just sign it. Kind of takes out a piece of paper, takes out a pen from his hard pocket, and then kind of just signs it. See your signature.
Take it from him, and they're like, yeah, we just, if it comes across, we want to see if maybe someone's, messing with you and signing something without you knowing.
Yes, well, we also have the note itself that was taken, kind of pulls out as a note, and it seems to have been teared off from the thing. Fiera, you gather that he probably had to retrieve the note at some point, which is what you saw from the finished task, and kind of hands it over to you. So this is the apparent note that I have signed, but once again, I have not signed it, though it does have my signature on it. Or I can't remember having signed it. I guess a valid thing to say, and kind of hands it over to you, Eirik.
I mean, that's... how did your signature get on a paper that you say you didn't sign? That's the first big question here.
Let's try to see what this order is first.
You look at it, and it's basically just a list of drinks to be delivered to the meeting room, and then just signed with the same signature that you saw, that he just signed, and that's kind of it.
Who took this order originally?
Do you mean to process the order or to deliver the order?
Like, who received the order, if not you?
Well, it somehow slipped by us and just landed directly in the kitchen. Then it was processed by the chef, Helen.
Yes, I processed the order, I prepared the drinks, and then it was taken by Milda.
I'm just wondering how... I understand a kitchen can be busy and things go in and out all the time. I'm just wondering how someone would have come in without ever being seen and put something on there with a signature on it and then slip out without ever leaving a trace of being there.
Well, on that note, today has been a fairly unbusy day, since the High Castle for the most part has been set to, have lower traffic because of the meeting. Most people who were invited in the castle were told to leave, which is why we didn't have as many orders today as we usually have. Which is why I also took the time to keep watch on one of our new employers. We have just currently received a new employer, and That's why I haven't been as attentive, I must admit, on the notes themselves, since I was, more focused on training one of our trainees. And it kind of shows who's extremely young guy who's there. Seems to be a male, half elf, as most retainers seem to be. He kind of just lifts his hands. Hi. Yes, I was keeping my watch on him, just doing his usual staff training. But nonetheless, I still should receive all possible notes that come through here.
How new are you?
Fairly new, very new. I think I came in last week. Last of Us.
In the functions of the kitchen, is there any magical items that are being used on a daily basis or even from time to time in here?
The head chef now speaks up. The male human seems to be in his 50s. Says,
Yeah, we use quite a few for cold storage and for heating up things. We have magical stoves. They use, chrysalises to be powered.
that, by the way, is a common thing in high-end kitchens, that they use very small chrysalises to do minor things.
So it would not be uncommon to be in the presence of magic in the kitchen, is basically what I'm asking.
Oh, no, we see it all the time. Yeah, no, we see it all the time. Some of our cooks are even mages to some degree, or sorcerers. Yeah.
Okay. So it could be possible that this note was brought in or magically placed here, and since magic is quite common, could have gone undetected, because I mean, if I'm cooking every day with magic tools, I would not be surprised if magic was floating around me. It would not be a surprising thing, like suddenly there's magic, because it's omnipresent for you.
Yeah, I guess you can put it that way. It's definitely a common thing around here. But most of our magical means are geared towards cooking or utility aspects. So we aren't really that proficient in casting magics. Are we allowed to ask why we are being questioned at the moment?
That is a question that the ministress would probably be able to answer for you. I don't think we are at the liberty to talk about it.
Alright.
Kind of steps back.
Go from here.
I'm just wondering, since no one was aware of this order coming in and then it suddenly was there, do we do we know where the person who delivered the drinks are?
I'm here.
Kind of raises her hand. You see the little girl standing there, kind of shyly, probably behind the head chef, but I didn't see her.
I delivered the drinks.
Delivered the drinks. Did anyone stop you on your way to deliver them?
No, I just took the orders from the counter, and then I went first way to the meeting room and got scolded.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It was a very important meeting.
I didn't know. I just take orders and then I deliver them to where they're designated to.
Do you mind if I take a look at the cart that was used to deliver the order?
No, not at all. By all means, please.
The card is on the outside of the counter. With the other cards, I think a retainer should have brought it out by now. And he kind of points to the outside area, the large empty space that is in front of the kitchen. I presume either all of you or just some of you who's going to the cart.
I would go wherever Skit goes, or her character goes. Sorry, old habits die hard. Okay?
Yeah, well,
Okay, Eric.
I'll slowly make my way there, but I'm looking around the entire kitchen, just seeing if anything catches my eye.
Are you just keeping an eye out, or are you like investigating stuff?
No, not investigating, just like passive.
Yeah. You make your way there. The cart has been delivered there. Yeah, Eric, it's a kitchen. It's a nice kitchen. It's a very nice kitchen, in fact.
Are there any tools that catch my eye?
Ooh. Yeah, you probably look at some of the stoves. You can see how they have integrated like extremely small crystals inside of them, which can be very efficient to use to heat up pans and stuff like that. At some point, you can also see a large fridge is put inside of there, and you can hear a low humming coming from it. Also, magical energy that's constantly being caused from probably a smaller ice crystallus that's blended there to keep things cool. It's like it's probably even the first time you see these high-end devices. Like, you know of their existence, but you've never really built them. So it's kind of cool seeing them being utilized here in such a high-end capacity. It's like dang. Yeah, but
I'll probably open the fridge and
yeah, look inside.
look inside.
Look at the design. You can see how there's like wires made similar to a oven that uses, wires to transmit heat. Here it's used to transmit cold. You're like, oh dang, that's interesting. You could probably use that for some of your own devices. Yeah, the others, you kind of step out and you can see that one of the retainers has already brought out the cart that looks identical to the one you presume was used to bring the drinks, and probably the head chef would follow you, and the rebel butler too, just kind of there, and then probably the rebel butler would also drag the retainer who pulls the cart, and they say, yeah, it's one of that is the cart that's been used, one of hundreds that we have here.
Yeah, I'd like to probably check if there's anything that would be out of the ordinary for a regular cart.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Yep.
Oh,
It's a cart and it rolls.
yeah. There's a nice card. And there isn't much that you could even hide on a card, you know? Like, you look under it, you kind of look between the plates and stuff like that. Look between the wheels. It is a normal card. It's well made, but that's about it.
Dang. I'm not intelligent like the other ones. Shoot.
Is there anything else you need from us? Otherwise, we would return to our duties.
I don't think that there is, but if we need anything else, we'll let you know.
Very well. And then they're gonna step back, and then they just, go back to the places where they're stationed and just start working again.
Should we update people upstairs about what we found and did not find?
Kind of worried with how much we tell them. Like, I don't want to seem secretive. But
I don't
this
think
is all.
we've found enough.
Yeah, this is all a little weird.
I'm mostly wondering if the headmistress would know what warehouse we're talking about, if that would ring a bell to her.
I mean, in a city this large, there's many warehouses.
Many warehouses. I can attest to that.
I feel like this has to be connected to the chrysalises somehow, though.
But most likely is.
That's why we're all here.
Yes, Colas wants chrysalises, and this is apparently how they want to get them. And keep them.
Ira, did you guys leave any chrysalises at the warehouse where you studied them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. We're not gonna just bring that out into the streets.
So there's a high chance that if someone was looking for chrysalises and they knew that people were studying them, they would try to find where they are.
I
So
can
we
only
should-
imagine, yes, that's probably exactly what they would try to do.
Maybe they overheard you guys talking one time and maybe followed you. Unintentionally, of course.
To be followed would have been quite the challenge, considering the whole, we just appeared in the warehouse.
Oh.
So the headmaster should probably at least check if the chrysalises are still in the warehouse where you guys left them.
That would be a good idea.
If they're missing, we have a big problem on our hands.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
Think about the question that was asked for the Circle of Truth. What if Tyrone didn't die and the person who was aiding them knew they didn't die? Then that was a complete waste of time.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yep.
And Azathia and Colas both want to experiment with the crystals and want, well, my organization out of their hairs. So what if they're working together to make that happen? Could be Eric's boss working with Tyrone. It's not guaranteed, but
I don't like how you're pointing fingers at our nation.
I
I'm
mean,
pointing fingers at them.
I would not put it past the Duke as well. Because he doesn't want to go at war with you guys.
I don't think the Duke's part of this. He was very afraid when events went down. He seems very out of the loop.
The judges also did not seem surprised by what happened.
I can go on about them. Let's just say they think of themselves very highly. And they probably don't really care what's happening here, honestly.
So, we definitely need to know if the chrysalises are missing from the warehouse or not.
Yeah, so I think we should definitely go back to the meeting room. Just let them know that we feared that the chrysalises that Eirik and his people were working with could be in jeopardy.
Right. I think one thing's for sure, there is another person out there who kind of helped set this up for Tyrone. If they were working together with those pills and with the order. So we can just say we're trying to find that third party. Try to keep as much information to ourselves as we can.
Could your mom's bodyguard do another zone of truth, and we could ask a different question? Would that be helpful at all, or would we just be wasting time because people could abstain from answering the question?
I'm pretty sure people don't want to go through that again. Especially if they know that we might be catching on something.
Yeah.
Just, randomly attack people.
I would not recommend that now that we've actually exited the room. They could be very suspicious of us now that we've walked out.
That's an option.
I'm very confident in your abilities. I'm trying to avoid unnecessary diplomatic incidents.
Probably very smart. Very smart.
I'm kind of side-eye. You would have been like, give me that look like, mm-hmm.
I know, I'm the one to talk. I know.
Alright, so let's go back to the room and see what we can do about at least checking on the crystals. Eirik, do you think you'd be able to talk to the headmaster without drawing too much attention? Since you're friendly with?
Don't see why not. Just they're my boss.
Okay. I think that might be the best way to do it without drawing too many, interest.
Yeah, I guess I'm on board. I mean, it won't be a good thing if these things are missing, so.
Okay, so you guys step back to the meeting room. Make your way there. You see as you're approaching the room that the doors closes just before you kind of enter. You see someone else has entered the room. Gonna go there, open the door. Everyone is murdered. No, I'm kidding. You step inside.
Not again.
Jack?
Nah, I can't do the same thing twice. You see the Ministers of Defense. Currently just stepped inside shortly before you arrive. She's kind of talking to the Duke. You see the same people who left behind are still inside of there. They're kind of talking. Nerio is having some kind of discussion with the head judges. The artificers, I always have to like take a second to say it correctly. Artificer. And the headmasters also just kind of having a discussion with the other artificers. Yeah, you step inside, and obviously attention is grabbed towards you. You kind of look up. The Duke looks up and says, so your horse will come back. Any success?
Some. Although I will say, it is impressive how much is not found. Somebody did very well to cover their tracks. But we believe there is a culprit that has been skulking around both Tyron's room and the kitchen.
Right.
I think that this was very much Tyrone was the target.
So it wasn't a planned random killing, so the main suspect is Tyrone. Do you maybe found out any motive why Tyrone specifically?
We're still looking into that. One thing we might have found is that they are targeting a warehouse next. And, well, this obvious warehouse would be where the chrysalises are kept.
You see the headmaster kind of perk up, says. And how do you know that a warehouse is being targeted?
We found something left behind by them. Orders. And part of their orders were to go to a warehouse.
Alright. The Ministers of Defense can also speaks up and says, well, I was just about to give this news to dear Duke, but I think it's prevalent for everyone inside of this room. It seems like we will be expecting a Crusader Legion, and maybe the next day to enter the city. They haven't given us prior notice. Well, they don't have to. But it seems like one of the Fimbredea's main legions, and if I'm not correct, if my scouts have told it correctly, it is the personal Crusader Legion from Eximius Council member Metropolitan of Friedrich Septimus. Angel of Anger, it seems like. You see the Duke kind of, it's like, are you certain that they're coming here from the direction that they are currently traveling? I don't see why they would stop anywhere else but Sunranir. Well, whatever has occurred, I think somehow it also got to the outside, and the Metropolitan has been informed. Although I do not know the specifics of what you has been told. This is bad news. You see kind of Nevio step up and say, maybe I should go to Lovindeus. Maybe I can speak with Metropolitan Authority Septimus, and I can maybe figure out what he's attempting to do right now. I don't think he would start any conflict, or at least not violent conflict, without the high permission of the Archbishop. He is testing individual, but I don't think he would cross that line just yet.
Very interesting.
Well, if that's the case, I would say not waste any time, right? Maybe send you on your way immediately? I could leave right now. You have access to Corner Cove Keep, don't you? Yes, I do. Right, then let's not wait any further. Maybe we can prevent a disaster, so faster we act. And Nero kind of just nods and says, alright, I will try and hear that. Goes to Yufiera and says, you know what? You're old enough, you can take care of yourself. You just try to clarify things that are going on here, and we will meet, I don't know, later. I think this is important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'll keep in touch.
And you're sure you don't want to have Teliel with you?
No, I need to do things my way.
Alright. Okay, let's go, Teliel. I will send one of the staff members to also pack your things, very kindly. And then she leaves the room, and then immediately is accompanied by a couple of the guards at one side of the room and a few retainers as she leaves.
I'm sorry to... I'm sorry to interrupt or whatever. Headmistress, would it be possible to head to the warehouse where your group did research on the chrysalises?
Yes, certainly, of course we can.
Because I do believe, like, my group mates here mentioned, I do believe that the next answer to this kind of puzzle we're trying to piece is probably over there.
Alright, that is very concerning to think about. Well, alright. Well, we have two ways to get to the warehouse. We can either go by foot, which will obviously take longer, or we can teleport there. However, I currently am out of the capabilities to teleport there directly. I've already came here. However, I did ask the Duke to prepare a chamber from which you can access it. Presumably it has already been finished to be constructed. The Duke says, yes, finished yesterday. If you wish to use that, it leads directly to the warehouse, but we haven't done the other way around, so you can only get to the warehouse and you won't be able to come back.
I think the biggest part right now is that we get there.
We
And
can...
I think if we can use this teleportation room to get all of us there, then great.
I'm sure we can figure out a way to come back later.
Did anyone else know about this mode of transportation to this warehouse?
No, it was between the Duke and I, and now you're also involved. No one else knew about it. However, the location of the warehouse, similar, only is known to the Duke, myself, and the artificers. And well, one of them who was supposed to be part of this meeting isn't here today. Eric, if you remember.
Of course.
Oh, shit. Okay, I will lead you there immediately. And she kind of gathers you. And then you slowly exit the room itself. And are brought to a chamber. Inside of the castle itself, you see the Duke is rather leading the way, since he's the one who commissioned it. And as you're kind of walking, the Duke kind of looks to the headmaster and says, "What do you mean someone was supposed to be here, but they aren't here?" Well, as you remember, we requested to have 5 more spaces, since 5 other artificers would be there. She was also tasked to investigate the chrysalises. She wasn't there during the investigation, at least as I'm aware. Am I right, Eric?
No, she wasn't there at the original meeting. She hasn't been around the last little while.
So I wanted to contact her today before the meeting when I was bringing in the others, and she just said that she was ill, which I found a bit odd. I tried to go check on her, but I couldn't find her. But since she was a trusted, or at least I thought a trusted individual under my working orders, I didn't think any more of it. But now I believe that was a foolish idea. Alright, but if she wasn't there in the initial meeting, that means she doesn't know the location of the warehouse, right? Technically speaking.
She wouldn't know what was going on there. She shouldn't know what's going on there.
You go forward. I will go back to the meeting room. I have to check with the other artificers. And she kind of excuses herself and then heads back to the meeting room. Is there anything you would like to do before this happens?
I'm so confused. Why all of a sudden is this a problem? She just hasn't been at the meeting. She was sick. Like, I don't... What happened? What's going on?
She kind of stops walking. She says, "Eric, think. She's the only one who wasn't there. You believe the warehouses are being targeted. That means either she is in cahoots with a other member of our group and found out that way, and she's missing because she's currently there."
But she was already missing from before we even knew about the warehouse.
No, you're right. Which is why I believe that she isn't the only one inside of our group that is involved. Fimbian, Heinrich, or Caviar could also be planning the same thing. Or it could be you, but I don't believe that's the case.
No. You do. That's not. No, that's not. I don't like that.
See? Which is why I believe it's one of the other three.
Okay, what do we do when we get there?
I don't know. It's better to stop wasting time. You get there as fast as you can, and I would deal with the other three and find out whether or not that's true. Alright?
No, but okay.
She kinda steps away and is running. You see the Duke just kind of looking a bit confused. Just is like, okay, this sounds like a... oh, this is getting really messy. And he starts walking you to what seems to be like the main chamber areas, and then kind of leads off to one of the hallways to a similar domed room where all teleportation chambers seem to be made, and this is just this dome room. And so very simple, just this plaque or kind of elevated portion of the ground is lifted up with arcane runes carved inside of there to make a teleportation circle sigil. So, right, you wish to go there? Yes.
Yep.
Should what do we do? Should we prepare? What's happening? What if someone's there? We're just going to appear, and then all of a sudden things are going to go crazy.
Well, then we fight. Hopefully you're good at it, buddy.
Shoot.
I wouldn't mind preparing a spell beforehand, maybe, to give us a little bit of an edge.
Sure, I don't know. I'm also not entirely certain what is going on.
I'm just not ready to die yet.
We'll let you die, buddy.
Actually, I could do this to two of us. Anybody want a boost? Something to make them a little bit quicker?
Quick?
Yeah.
I mean, if nobody else wants to become quicker, I'll always be quicker.
Sure. You see me take my locket out of my robe again. This time I kind of fiddle with it a little bit, and it opens up. And on the inside, it almost looks like starlight's kind of sprinkling out. To start casting a spell, I take some of it and put it on your forehead, making a starlight glyph. And I give you Gift of Alacrity, which I'll tell you what it does if that ever comes apparent. And I'll do the same thing to myself, putting the starlight glyph on my head. Close the locket.
What?
It's called Gift of Alacrity.
How do you spell that?
Alacrity.
Thank you.
Yep. I'll let you know what it does when it happens.
Okay.
When it happens.
Go ahead, take a breath and say, alright, I'm ready.
Right? Everyone else?
Oh, I'm pulling out my arcane focus. And basically just like standing there with it in my hand, just like starting to shake.
What's your arcane focus?
Oh yeah.
It's so have you ever seen like a vintage hand drill?
Yes.
So like it's got like a handle with like you crank it like this to make it spin.
Yep.
So basically it looks like that.
Damn!
Oh, that's cool. It's like shaped like a wand. I like
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's
So
really
it's
cool.
basically this like tapered metal wand-ish rod looking thing with a bunch of like wood and metal kind of like wrapping around it, and there's like the big gear on the outside with the handle. Just basically standing there with it right now.
Alright, let's go through the portal. And I just pull Israel into the portal.
Well, it doesn't say he has to like activate it. That's why he's asking.
Oh.
You're just
Well,
standing.
I make sure she's in the portal.
Okay, on the stone slab. Yep. Yeah. So, anything you would like to do before he activates it?
No. I'm gonna have. Oh, shoot. Yeah, no, there's currently nothing I would be doing other than, probably uncontrollably shake. And be extremely nervous and be like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
While
I got you.
you are preparing, you kind of see that the Duke, his eyes at a certain point just widen up. He kind of looks confused, looks to all of you. It's like, I just received a message from Collis. They said that Tyrone's body was found 4 days ago.
Freaking knew it. I freaking knew. We have to go now.
And let's go.
And that's
And you get wished away. You feel once again like doing a backflip. Your stomach turns. You kind of feel an entire tingling sensation going from your toes all the way to the top of your head as one by one you apparate onto cold stone floors. A bit of light from the residue of the arcane power that was being used kind of spills into this room. You can see a few crates. The stone floor, or the hall itself, seems to be empty for the most part. It's a long hall, fairly wide too. Very familiar to you, Eirik. You can see, you kind of first try to get your bearings. This kind of teleportation seems a bit more mediocre in terms of the actual teleportation that's being used, or when you go with the headmaster itself. As you all kind of step one by one after seeing the crates, you can see a few individuals. You see people carrying crates, kind of lifting it up. You can hear people kind of talking with each other, and then as you operate and the light dims a bit, you can see all of them kind of looking to you, and then only one of you recognizes one of them. Eirik, you see Zilnath Wertling. She's kind of there, and she's kind of standing there, looking also extremely surprised that you're there, and she says, God damn it, I thought we had more time. That's where we're gonna end today's session.
Bitch!
I knew this was gonna be a cliffhanger moment. I was like, it's gonna happen like right now.
Oh, shoot.
a very plot thickens episode.
I mean, every time, man.
At least we got there. I was just going down the deepest rabbit hole we could find, but now we popped out.
Yeah, you put on. I believe me, you could have went way deeper.
All because I asked if anyone knew about the Chrysalis warehouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess my character is rubbing off on me asking the right questions.
Yeah, once you mentioned that, I'm like, man, she's got good intuition. And you would have only seen that fucking scratching on the desk with like a 20 or higher, otherwise you wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah, if we didn't get that, I don't know where we'd be going now. We probably could go into like all the retainers, like parents' houses and like relatives and no.
Yeah.
Thank you for rolling good today.
Ooh, yeah. Might need that next week too.
His body was found
4 days ago.
Which we had an imposter in the room this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think he had different hair color than what you remembered him?
What?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. It's in my notes somewhere, but yeah. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Oh, very interesting, and I'm excited to see how this is gonna go. You're gonna meet
I'm
like,
excited for our first combat.
yeah, me too. I'm like, please don't die.
Oh my god.
Do you have combat spells prepared?
I have almost none.
I only have one, so
Wild shape. Wild shape will become your best friend.
Yeah, I do have to talk to Jack about that because I'm probably gonna need
A
a
couple of
character sheet for my wild shape.
Yep.
Yeah. Cause right now I think I have 2 cantrips that can hurt,
That's better than nothing.
and that's it. I can detect stuff, I can charm people, I can talk to animals,
Mhm.
I can
Same
talk to plants.
making spells is always fun.
I was not expecting to go into combat on the very first day, so I did not prepare anything for that.
Oh, I did.
Wrong choice.
Yep.
With Jack, expect the unexpected.
Yep.
I mean, it could have very well have been that you wouldn't have encountered combat since, you know, the thread that led to the warehouse was fairly thin. But you found it, you decided to follow it, you know.
Mhm.
So,
Or if we succeeded on expecting that body, that probably would have helped a little bit.
yeah, that probably too.
I'm so happy that this character's like been rolling the way that I'm like envisioning it in my head. It makes me
Yeah.
so happy.
Don't jinx it.
It does. It's not going very well for me right now.
Aww.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets better.
It's got even out somewhere.
Positive thoughts, everybody.
Positive thoughts for good rolls next session.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we
Speaking of,
entered a warehouse we can't get out of, and we probably have to fight. So that there won't be any running. That's what I'm worried about. Can't run.
Can't run, can't. Never run. The
Yeah.
last time you couldn't run.
We were on a boat. I could have. See, I could have flown away as Kai, but that's just so against his character. I had the spell slot. I had fly up. I could have taken like Namira and Ran.
Yeah.
jerk.
So while we're thinking about this, guys, what do we think for next session?
Well, first, before we do that, I guess that doesn't have to be part of the
No.
recording. We have a name.
True.
Yeah, we already forgot that we're recording. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
No stress
So
there. Then.
our after session banter.
Yeah, but I don't think
Yep.
they want to listen with our scheduling. Oh, probably, maybe it is interesting. Because then they will know when maybe the next episode is. But I don't think anyone will actually listen to this. So, it is time to say goodbye to the players, and next week maybe even to the characters. Let's see how it goes.
Jack.
I give us buffs. It's fine.
Yep.
We like
Yeah.
buffs.
We like to be buff. We like to be buffed. Everything that starts with B and ends with F we like. No. Yeah, I'm rambling stupid shit. That means I'm a bit tired. Okay. And without that, I don't have anything further to say. So everyone wave. Everyone wave. Everyone wave. Everyone wave. No, we shouldn't wave. Yep.